Welcome to our exploration of modern Stoicism, where ancient wisdom meets contemporary challenges. Today we'll discover how Stoic principles can transform our chaotic lives into journeys of purpose and tranquility. These 10 practices aren't just philosophical concepts, they're practical tools for navigating our complex world with grace and resilience. Are you ready to begin this transformative journey? Let's dive in. Building resilience, the foundation. In our unpredictable world, resilience isn't just helpful, it's essential. Before we explore our 10 Stoic practices, let's understand how resilience forms the foundation of Stoic living. Cultivating inner resources. When life tests us, our internal resources determine our response. Building meaningful connections, learning from challenges, and maintaining a balanced perspective all contribute to a resilient spirit that weathers any storm. The resilient mind. The Stoics understood that mental fortitude comes not from avoiding difficulty but from facing it with the right mindset. As Seneca wisely noted, it is not because things are difficult that we do not dare, it is because we do not dare that things are difficult. Now, let's explore the 10 practices that can help us cultivate both Stoic wisdom and personal resilience. Practice 1. Embrace voluntary discomfort. The modern world promises comfort at every turn, yet true growth lies beyond our comfort zones. The ancient Stoics practiced voluntary discomfort, deliberately exposing themselves to challenging conditions to strengthen their resolve. Consider Cato the Younger, who walked bareheaded in the rain and snow, not out of eccentricity but to practice enduring discomfort. His goal wasn't suffering for its own sake, but building inner strength that couldn't be shaken by external circumstances. How can we practice voluntary discomfort today? Perhaps by taking cold showers, fasting occasionally, or sleeping on a harder surface. These small challenges train our minds to distinguish between genuine hardship and mere inconvenience. Through voluntary discomfort, we develop an inner dialogue. If I can handle this intentional challenge, I can certainly manage life's unexpected difficulties. This isn't masochism, it's practical preparation for life's inevitable trials. When we regularly step outside our comfort zones, we expand our capacity for endurance. We learn that discomfort itself isn't harmful, it's our judgment about discomfort that causes suffering. As Epictetus taught, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. I invite you to start small. Skip a meal, take a cold shower, or walk instead of drive. Notice how your relationship with discomfort changes over time. You'll discover that this practice doesn't diminish joy, it enhances it by freeing you from the tyranny of comfort seeking. Practice 2. Practice morning contemplation. How you begin your day shapes everything that follows. The Stoics understood this, developing morning routines that centered their minds before engaging with the world. Marcus Aurelius exemplified this practice. His meditations began as morning journal entries, preparing himself for the day ahead. When you arise in the morning, he wrote, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love. A modern morning contemplation practice might include: first, waking intentionally rather than reaching immediately for your phone. Give yourself the gift of 5 minutes of silence. Second, reflecting on potential challenges ahead. Ask yourself, what difficulties might I face today, and how will I respond virtuously? Third, setting intentions aligned with Stoic values. Consider which virtues, courage, justice, temperance, or wisdom, you most need to embody today. This contemplative start creates a buffer between sleep and activity, allowing you to choose your mindset rather than reacting to whatever grabs your attention first. The quality of your morning contemplation affects the quality of your entire day. It's not about perfect meditation, it's about consistent mindfulness that gradually transforms how you perceive and respond to life's events. By practicing morning contemplation, you learn to direct your mind rather than being directed by it. You become proactive rather than reactive, deliberate rather than accidental in your living. Practice 3. Develop practical wisdom. Practical wisdom, what the Stoics called phronesis, is the art of applying philosophical principles to everyday decisions. Unlike abstract theorizing, practical wisdom guides real-world choices. Epictetus taught that philosophy isn't about impressive discourse but about living well. Don't explain your philosophy, he advised. Embody it. Developing practical wisdom involves 3 key elements. First, consciously examining your values. What truly matters to you? Not what society says should matter, but what aligns with your deepest principles. Second, carefully distinguishing between what you can and cannot control. The Stoics emphasized focusing energy only on what lies within our power, our judgments, intentions, and actions. Third, practicing deliberate decision-making. Before acting, pause to ask, does this choice align with my values? Is this within my control? Will this contribute to my growth and the good of others? Practical wisdom isn't theoretical, it manifests in daily choices. When you're tempted to react angrily to criticism, practical wisdom helps you respond with equanimity. When facing a difficult conversation, it guides you toward courage and honesty. By developing practical wisdom, you bridge the gap between philosophical ideals and lived experience. Your decisions become more consistent, less influenced by fleeting emotions and external pressures. Remember, practical wisdom grows through practice and reflection. Each choice becomes an opportunity to refine your understanding and application of Stoic principles. Practice 4. Cultivate present moment awareness. In our distracted age, perhaps no Stoic practice is more countercultural than present moment awareness. While modern technology pulls our attention in countless directions, the Stoics advocated complete engagement with the current moment. Seneca lamented how many people postpone living, always waiting for some future happiness. The greatest obstacle to living is expectancy, he wrote, which hangs upon tomorrow and loses today. Cultivating present moment awareness involves 3 practices. First, regular periods of single tasking. Choose one activity, whether eating, walking, or conversing, and engage in it completely, without dividing your attention. Second, periodic reality checks throughout the day. Pause briefly to notice your surroundings, physical sensations, thoughts, and emotions without judgment. Third, practicing gratitude for the present moment exactly as it is. Even in difficulty, there are aspects of existence worthy of appreciation. Present moment awareness doesn't mean ignoring the future. Rather, it means recognizing that the future emerges from how fully we live now. The quality of our planning improves when it's grounded in clear perception of current reality. This practice helps us escape the tyranny of anticipation and regret, the twin distractions that pull us from the only moment we can actually influence. As Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, every hour focus your mind attentively on the performance of the task in hand, with dignity, human sympathy, benevolence, and freedom, and leave aside all other thoughts. Through present moment awareness, we discover that life happens now, not in our memories of the past or fantasies of the future. This realization brings both peace and power. Practice 5. Engage in evening reflection. Just as important as beginning the day mindfully is ending it reflectively. The Stoics practiced evening examinations to review their actions and prepare for deeper sleep and growth. Seneca described his nightly practice. When the light has been removed and my wife has fallen silent, aware of this habit that's now mine, I examine my entire day and go back over what I've done and said, hiding nothing from myself, passing nothing by. A modern evening reflection might include: first, reviewing the day's events without judgment. Simply recall what happened, whom you encountered, and what you experienced. Second, evaluating your responses to challenges. Were your actions aligned with Stoic virtues? Where did you succeed or fall short? Third, planning improvements without self-criticism. How might you respond differently to similar situations tomorrow? This practice isn't about perfectionism. It's about continuous learning and growth. By regularly examining your thoughts and actions, you identify patterns that either serve or hinder your development. Evening reflection creates a virtuous cycle. Mindful review leads to better choices, which provide more positive experiences to reflect upon. This upward spiral gradually transforms your character. Additionally, this practice improves sleep quality by creating closure for the day's concerns. Rather than carrying unresolved thoughts into sleep, you've already processed them and set intentions for improvement. Make evening reflection a sacred appointment with yourself, a time to honor your journey and recommit to your values before resting. Practice 6. Cultivate meaningful silence. In our noise-filled world, the practice of meaningful silence stands as a powerful Stoic discipline. This isn't mere absence of speech, but an active state of receptive awareness. Zeno of Citium, founder of Stoicism, reportedly said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so we should listen twice as much as we speak." This wisdom acknowledges that silence offers opportunities for growth that constant talking prevents. Meaningful silence takes three forms. First, the silence of listening, truly hearing others without preparing your response while they speak. This form of silence creates space for genuine understanding. Second, the silence of reflection, regular periods without external input. No music, podcasts, or conversation, just your thoughts and observations. Third, the silence of restraint, consciously choosing not to speak when words would add no value. As Epictetus advised, be silent for the most part, or say only what is necessary, and in few words. Practicing meaningful silence doesn't make you withdrawn. Paradoxically, it enhances connection. When you speak less but with greater intention, your words carry more weight. When you listen fully, your relationships deepen. Silence also reveals our attachments. Notice the discomfort that arises when you don't immediately fill silent spaces in conversation. This discomfort points to potential growth areas. In our hyperconnected era, meaningful silence has become countercultural. Yet it remains essential for developing the inner resources that characterize true Stoic tranquility. Through silence, we discover parts of ourselves usually drowned out by noise. I challenge you to experiment with periods of intentional silence. Start with short intervals and gradually extend them. Notice how this practice changes your relationship with yourself and others. Practice 7. Embrace purposeful simplicity. The ancient Stoics advocated simplicity not from asceticism but from a profound understanding. Complexity often obscures what matters most. Consider Marcus Aurelius, who despite being emperor of Rome, preferred simple food, plain clothing, and modest accommodations. His simplicity wasn't deprivation but liberation, freedom from unnecessary concerns that might distract from virtuous living. Purposeful simplicity involves three dimensions. First, material simplicity, thoughtfully reducing possessions to those that truly serve your well-being and values. Ask of each item, does this help me live virtuously? Second, calendar simplicity, eliminating activities that fragment your time and attention without contributing to your most important goals. Third, mental simplicity, clearing away unnecessary worries, especially about matters beyond your control. As Epictetus taught, make the best use of what is in your power and take the rest as it happens. This practice doesn't require extreme minimalism. Rather, it means aligning your external circumstances with your internal priorities. When our surroundings reflect our values, daily life reinforces rather than contradicts our philosophy. Purposeful simplicity creates space, physical space that brings clarity, time for what truly matters, and mental bandwidth for deeper thought. In our consumer culture, this practice may seem radical. Yet many discover that intentional simplification brings unexpected satisfaction. Things we fear losing often prove less essential than anticipated. I invite you to experiment with purposeful simplicity in one area of life. Notice how it affects your sense of freedom, focus, and fulfillment. Practice 8. Practice cognitive distancing. The Stoics understood a profound psychological truth. We suffer not from events themselves, but from our interpretations of those events. Epictetus expressed this succinctly: men are disturbed not by things, but by the views which they take of them. This insight forms the foundation for what modern psychologists call cognitive distancing, the ability to separate oneself from one's thoughts. Practicing cognitive distancing involves 3 steps. First, recognizing thoughts as mental events, not necessarily facts. When a thought arises like, "This is unbearable," or "I've been completely disrespected," label it as a thought rather than accepting it as reality. Second, questioning automatic interpretations. Ask yourself, is this the only way to view this situation? What other perspectives might be equally or more valid? Third, choosing more balanced and helpful interpretations. This doesn't mean forced positivity, but rather viewing situations in ways that acknowledge complexity and maintain your agency. This practice doesn't deny genuine hardship. Instead, it prevents us from adding unnecessary suffering through extreme, rigid, or unhelpful thinking patterns. When we master cognitive distancing, we experience greater emotional stability. Events that once triggered intense reactions lose their power as we recognize our role in interpreting them. The Stoics would have us understand that freedom lies not in controlling external events but in choosing our responses to them. As Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Begin practicing cognitive distancing with minor irritations before applying it to major challenges. With practice, this skill becomes increasingly natural and powerful. Practice 9. Cultivate philosophical friendship. While Stoicism emphasizes inner resources, it equally values philosophical friendship, relationships that support growth and virtue. Seneca wrote extensively about friendship, noting that the consciousness of friendship brightens our thoughts. He emphasized that true friendship isn't merely pleasant but constructive, helping us become better versions of ourselves. Cultivating philosophical friendship involves 3 elements. First, seeking relationships with those who share your commitment to growth. These need not be formal Stoics, simply people striving to live thoughtfully and virtuously. Second, engaging in regular philosophical dialogue. Create opportunities for meaningful conversation about values, challenges, and aspirations. Third, practicing mutual accountability. Invite trusted friends to question your thinking and hold you to your stated values, offering the same service in return. Philosophical friendships serve as external mirrors, reflecting aspects of ourselves we might otherwise miss. They provide alternative perspectives when our thinking becomes rigid or distorted. These relationships also sustain us during difficulty. When our resolve wavers, friends remind us of our deeper commitments and capabilities. In our age of superficial connection, philosophical friendship may seem uncommon. Yet it represents one of the most rewarding aspects of Stoic practice, the shared journey toward wisdom. Consider which relationships in your life have philosophical potential. How might you deepen these connections through more meaningful exchange? One substantive conversation often proves more valuable than countless casual interactions. Practice 10. Embrace mortality awareness. Our final Stoic practice may seem somber yet ultimately proves liberating, embracing awareness of our mortality. The Stoics regularly contemplated death not from morbid fascination but from practical wisdom. As Seneca advised, let us prepare our minds as if we'd come to the very end of life. Let us postpone nothing. Let us balance life's books each day. Embracing mortality awareness involves 3 practices. First, periodic reflection on life's finite nature. The Stoics recommended visualizing your death not to induce fear, but to sharpen appreciation for life's preciousness. Second, using mortality as a decision-making tool. When facing important choices, ask, if I had limited time remaining, would this still seem important? Third, living each day as if it were complete in itself. This doesn't mean recklessness, but rather fullness, approaching each day as a miniature lifetime worthy of your best efforts. This practice transforms our relationship with time. When we truly understand life's brevity, we waste less energy on trivial concerns and grudges. We speak more honestly, love more openly, and align our actions more closely with our values. Mortality awareness also enhances gratitude. Ordinary moments, a conversation, a meal, a walk outdoors, reveal their inherent value when seen against the backdrop of finite existence. The Stoics would have us understand that death gives life its meaning and urgency. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, you could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. Begin incorporating mortality awareness through simple reflections. Each morning, remind yourself that this day is both a gift and an opportunity that will never return in exactly this form. Conclusion: living the integrated Stoic life. As we conclude our exploration of these 10 Stoic practices, remember that their power lies not in perfect execution but in sincere, consistent effort. The ancient Stoics weren't seeking perfection but progress, the gradual alignment of their lives with their deepest values. These practices work synergistically. Morning contemplation prepares you for present moment awareness. Evening reflection enhances cognitive distancing. Philosophical friendship supports purposeful simplicity. Together, they create a coherent approach to living deliberately in our chaotic world. The integrated Stoic life isn't about rigid adherence to rules, but about developing inner freedom, the ability to respond to life's challenges with wisdom rather than reactivity. This freedom emerges gradually as these practices reshape your perceptions, habits, and character. As Epictetus reminded his students, don't explain your philosophy. Embody it. The true measure of your understanding isn't what you can articulate, but how you live, especially when facing difficulty. I invite you to begin with whichever practice resonates most strongly. Start small, be consistent, and notice the subtle shifts in your experience. Remember that Stoicism is practical philosophy. Its value lies in application rather than theory. Thank you for joining me on this exploration of the modern Stoic path. If you found value in these ideas, please share this video with others who might benefit. Subscribe to our channel for more philosophical content, and leave a comment sharing which practice you plan to implement first. Until next time, may you find tranquility through wisdom and strength through virtue. Final thoughts. This journey into Stoic wisdom reminds us that philosophy isn't an academic exercise but a practical guide for living well. The quiet strength of Stoicism, its focus on character over circumstance, wisdom over comfort, and courage over conformity, offers a compelling alternative to our culture's emphasis on external success and constant stimulation. As we integrate these practices into our lives, we cultivate not just resilience against hardship but a positive vision of human flourishing, a life characterized by purpose, tranquility, and unshakable inner freedom. I hope you'll join me again as we continue exploring timeless wisdom for modern living. Until then, remember Marcus Aurelius's words: waste no more time arguing about what a good person should be. Be one.